Hello. Today I'm going to show you how to cover a bottle with mulberry paper and create a Easter design. We're going to use a bottle here that's come from Hobby Lobby. This is a little round flat bottle. Really, I like it really well. This is one I've used many times. By the way, I'm Judy Mullins and you are visiting Vintage to Chic. I hope you'll come along and continue to watch me and let me know. If you have any questions or anything, just shoot me a message. I'll be happy to answer them for you. Okay, I'm going to cover this paper with mulberry paper, which is a fibrous paper. This one I got has gold threads running through it. Okay, I buy it in the big sheets, which are 24 by 36. This one is just a piece that I have tore off, and I use this for a background. Now, since we have to give it some drying time, I've already covered one, as you can see here. I've covered one with the paper and got it ready to go, and you can see the lines and stuff running through it, okay? I've done it and let it dry, and I'm going to cover this one with you, and then we're going to flip over to the one that's already finished so that you can see how it's done. This paper I purchased from mulberrypaperandmore.com, and it's called Uriah paper, and you want the 25 GSM. It comes in all different colors. You can use it on many things. I've used it for years, and I love it as a background color, as something to work on, to have on your background piece, okay, especially over glass. It works over top of other things too, but it doesn't show like it does over glass. This is one I've just finished, and this is a Valentine bottle. And see, this one is done with that, and then I've put a fairy light inside of it, so when you flip the switch, it's on. It's hard for you to see since it's daylight here, but you can put a light down in them, and I've put a bow on it after it's all finished out. So that's what I'm going to do with this one, but this time I'm going to use a napkin. This little Easter napkin is a really good one, so I'm going to use one section of this napkin on this bottle. So I'm going to start with covering it. Bottle's been cleaned, just wiped it clean. It comes, you buy them, purchase them, they're clean, and I always just wash them off. You can use alcohol, or if your bottles are clean, you can just dust them and you're ready to go. Okay, now I'm going to cover this with the mulberry paper. First, let's take my thing off. This one's priced $8.99, so if you get it on sale, catch it when glass is half price at Hobby Lobby, it would cost you $4 for the bottle. And the cork lights you can purchase on Amazon. Okay, I want to cover this bottle, and I'm going to work in as big an area. Some people like to cover it with little pieces at a time. I don't like to do that. I want to put as much as I can put on this bottle at one time, so that I have the less amount of time I have in it to cover it, the better off I am. Okay? So I'm going to take a piece of paper that I've just ripped apart here, and I'm going to position it down here. That's where my gold shows the best, and I'm going to put it on the edge, down here on the edge of my bottle. And I am going to tear a little bit of this off. Even though I'm going to let it lap over the sides, I don't want that much to lap over. See, this one's going to go almost cover one side of the bottle. Okay? My go-to is Mod Podge. I've used it for years, and I add a little water to it. That works for me, so there's no point in changing it if it works for you. Okay, I'm going to take just a little bit of my glue. I'm going to call this my glue, and I'm only going to put it right down here on the bottom. It takes very little to glue this down, so I'm only going to get enough on there to get it positioned into where I want it. And I'm going to lay my first piece of paper down on the bottle. Okay, now I'm going to work from where I've got it glued here. I'm going to work out. Now, as you can see, let me get me some scissors. As you can see here, my sides are going to lap over. So to get it to go around those sides and lay down good, I'm going to go in here and clip my paper, clip right into the paper. So when I come over to those sides, each one will lay down and lap over the other, and it'll give me a nice finish around those sides without it wrinkling on me. Okay? So I'm going to cut right in all the way around my bottle. I've done a lot of these through the years. I used to do tons of them, but I don't do as many as I used to. Times change and styles change, but this is a good one, and it's simple. It's not a bit hard. I'm taking my Mod Podge, and I'm just working from where I've got it on the bottle out to my sides, putting just enough on it to get it down. When I get this all down, it will take about an hour, shouldn't take more than about an hour for it to dry to where you can use it. So that shows how little Mod Podge I am actually putting on here now. And I didn't put anything under it. I'm just working, my paper's real thin, and I'm just working my way around the bottle. Now up here to the top, I'm going to have to also cut right in here. Take it down, cut it. If you're watching me on YouTube, let me know that you're watching me. If you're watching me on Facebook, I have a Facebook page called Vintage to Chic where we do teaching and things also. So I hope you'll follow along on YouTube, watch my other videos, and then come visit me on Facebook. We have a private group for Vintage to Chic. So we do a lot of things. I've been in the craft business about 50 years. So I'm getting close to the end of my term. I don't do as much as I used to. I used to travel a lot and I had a store, I've done shows, I've done it all. I've taught. But now at my age, I'm just doing what I love. It's hard to quit when you've been used to working all your life and you work at home and you love what you do. It's been an amazing ride to be able to work at something you enjoyed and call it a job. Okay. We've got snow in Tennessee today. I live in the Smoky Mountains, right outside of Pigeon Forge, and we got our first snow last night. Which it could win all winter and not snowed for me. Would be okay. See, I've got it all down on that side now. I'm going to go over here to this side and work my way down around this side. See where I've cut into that? See that? That makes it lay down real smooth on the edges. Anytime you're going over a place like that where it's going to be rounded, just cut into your paper, your design, or whatever you're putting on there, cut into it, and you'll be able to get it to lay down real easy. That one I can cut in just a little bit more because it's standing up there a little bit. If you see that it's standing up on you, then cut your paper a little bit more. Okay. These make super gifts. Kids love the ones with the lights in them. Give a family gift. If you give a holiday gift for a gift to a family, they never get rid of it. Years from now on that holiday and they pull it out and put it out to decorate with, they'll remember where it came from, who gave it to them, and all that. Okay, now I've got one side of that bottle already covered. Okay, now I'm going to come up here very lightly. I've got to watch where I do because I don't want to get my fingers in it and get it wet. I think I'll go ahead and cover the top next. That'll give that a chance to dry. Okay, now I am going to have to use some small pieces to get around the lid up here. So I'm going to take little small pieces of the paper, and I'm going to put it right up here and take my brush, put me some glue on there, and put that little small piece on there and then glue it right down. Taking it right under my spout, under my bottle, the lid there. With this paper in there, it really lets your light shine through. These lights come with batteries. When I ship them, I sell on I've got an Etsy shop, vintage2chic.etsy.com, and when I sell my bottles, I always ship an extra light with them. I mean, an extra set of batteries, so that you know what kind of batteries goes in your light. It comes with a set, and then you get an extra set. I have that shop, and then I have another one where I sell digital designs, and it's also Maddie B, but it's, vintage2chicdesigns.etsy.com. Maddie B is one I had before. That's my granddaughter's name, so I had a shop before that was named after her. Then I changed the name on it to go with my other one. Okay, now I'm working my way right around that nozzle up there. I'm just going small pieces and going around. I need to put a little more glue on that top up there. and a little down in the bottle so it'll glue right down in there. Okay, come here, put me a piece over here, push it down in there, and put some on top of it. See, this paper's already wrinkled, so you really don't have to worry about wrinkles because the paper's made that way. So it's a lot more forgiving, especially when you're learning to decoupage. This is a good beginner's project. Okay. Okay, I can get that to glue down in there. Put a little glue in there. Okay, got one more little section here at the top. One more little piece right there. Turn it around to where it faces me, makes it easier to work on. When I do these bottles, or when I do anything, I hardly ever do one of a kind unless I'm teaching a class like this, or I'm, otherwise if I'm working for sales to fill my shop or something, I work on a number of pieces at a time. I would be doing this, and I would be doing 3 or 4 of these bottles at one time if I was working on them to create inventory. Because the time you spend letting one dry, you can have another one half done. So to be better use of your time, you do in multiples. I did shows for years, and to get your inventory up, you have to do that. You have to learn to work assembly line style. Okay. Yeah. One more little piece there, and I'll have the top covered. Now sometimes you'll run up on a spot in this paper where it has a real harsh piece in it, and I would just cut that out rather than fool with it. I'll show you in just a minute what I mean. Get that to glue inside there. See, that's the hardest part, is getting the top of it around there. The hardest part you'll do. See this little piece of paper here? It's got a real strong piece running through it. This is made out of the mulberry tree, so it is actually mulberry paper. And that piece is real brittle, so I just discard those. Now I'm going to get me another piece for the back here. I'm going to again take a large piece, and I've got to be careful now not to get my fingers in the wet part of it. So I'm just going to hold it over very lightly with the sides. Put me a little glue right down here near the bottom, and put this piece across my bottom here. Get it on first. See, I've got about enough to cover about 2/3 of my bottle. Come in there and come right across with it and work my way up. The one with the heart we did yesterday on my page on Facebook. So that video is over on my Facebook if you want to go see it. Sometimes I just transfer the ones I do over there over to YouTube, and sometimes I make them just for YouTube. Okay? When you catch one and it's caught me, I try to cut out all the stuff of just the chit chat when I move it from Facebook over to here, because we chat a lot when we're working on Facebook. Okay, now I'm over here to this side. Got to get this side glued down, and it's going to overlap a little bit. So I'm going to tear into that a little bit. I won't need that much to overlap, so I just ripped a little bit of it off. Okay, now I've just got 2 little sections here, right up here. You can see the difference in the color of the bottle. It's hard to pick it up. You can see the difference in the color there. Those are the only two sections that I still need to do. Okay, so let's get another piece of paper and see where we're going up here. Sticking to my fingers with that glue. Okay. Hold it over here a little bit and put me a little piece right here on the side. Set it in here. When you get right down to the end now, you will have to do a little bit of piecing with small pieces to get your, to get everything covered. But I'm just going right in there and put that little piece on. And then again, I'm going to cut this where it's rounded coming around the sides. I'm going to cut into that, so it'll lay down for me. See, now if I was doing 3 or 4 at a time, I'd do the front on one, and then I'd jump over to the next one, and the next one, and work my way down the line till I got 3 or 4 of them done, and then the first one would be dry, and you just work right on. But if you're just working on one, you got to be careful not to get your fingers in the wet part of it. Okay, now I've got a little piece right there, a little tiny spot that's not covered, so here's where I'm going to take the little pieces. See, I'm going to put a little tiny piece in there. Just like working a jigsaw puzzle, I'm going to put those little pieces in spots that I need to get covered. I see another one right up here on the top. Come right here and put a little piece in. Okay. Let me know if you're watching me on YouTube. Let me know where you're from and where you're watching from. Okay, now I'm coming over here on this side. I'm going to fill in my spots over here that need to be filled in. Just about got it. I think I got one little section right down here that I have to cover. Get a little piece of paper off of there. Put it right here. I don't think I need that much. Right in there with that small piece, and I think that'll get us covered. After it dries, you always want to look, because you will be able to notice spots. If you've missed spots, you will see them. So after it's all dried and ready to go on to the next step, then just go back and look and see that you've got all your little spots covered. Okay, now I'm done with that one. See if I can pick it up this way. See here, I'm done. I've got it all covered. Now I'm going to set it aside to dry. So I'm going to set it over here out of the way, and I'm going to get the one that I've already finished. Now see, this one was done, probably I covered this one yesterday when we was working in class yesterday. Let me get my rag down here. I always keep a cleaning cloth in my lap, just for that purpose of things. Now I'm going to take a little piece of sandpaper, and I'm going to kind of sand it just a little bit. May have a little bit of rough spots on it. So I'm just going to go in here. This one dried overnight. It will, like I said though, usually within about an hour, if you haven't put way too much glue on there, within about an hour you're ready to go again and, finish your work on it. I just want it to be nice and smooth. Now these gold threads, some of them are going to stick up. That's okay. I'm just going to leave them, because as I finish it and varnish it, those will cover up, okay? Now I'm ready to go right back in here on this one and do my decoupage with my bunny rabbit. Okay, I'm going to use my glue again. This is simple. See, we're about 2/3 done with this project. This is very simple. I love this napkin. I've used it for years. When I find a napkin I like, I buy multiples. I buy a bunch of them. Sometimes I'll buy as many as 100 of one napkin. I'm going to cut me out a section. They always have 4 sections on them. So I'm going to just cut out one square of my napkin, one section. Okay. Okay. Now we've got that one. We'll just put that one aside. Now, I don't want this to go on just as a square piece. I don't want it to be square. Don't want there to be any lines on it, okay? So what I'm going to do is take my water brush, take me a brush with some water on it, or a water pen. If you use a water pen, then you use it. You know, whatever's convenient for it. It's just easier for me just to grab a brush and go to it. And I'm going to lay my napkin down here, and I'm going to go around it with some water and just take out my rough edges. Right around the edges of it. I can't get in my water here. Go right around. I just want to take enough off the edges so it doesn't have any straight edges on it. Okay. So I'm trying to leave as much as I can of the design, taking more of the white off the top than anything. Coming all the way around my napkin, just around the edge here. Okay, now I'm just going to take my fingers and pull that off where I took the water out on it. Okay, I didn't get quite enough on that edge. I want it to pull away real easy. Get your water on there, you can pull it off real easy. See, I want it to be ragged on the edges, just like that. So I'm coming right on around, taking off where I put the water in there. Right down here at the bottom, put a little more water because I'm really, really close to the edge down here. Then I want to separate my napkin, separate the plies of my napkin. Okay? So I'm going to come back up here and see if I can do it the simple way or if I have to get something to pull it apart. I want to just get one ply of the napkin off there. Okay, now I got it separated. It's got 3 plies on it here, and I've just took out one. Okay, now I'm going to lay my bottle down, and I'm going to position this in place here. It goes right up and across that edge a little bit. And being this is mulberry paper, it just kind of fades right into the background. You really don't have to do anything else. When you get this napkin on there, you can call it done. I usually take my toothbrush and spackle a little bit of paint around it, you know, a little bit of just for decorations. But on this napkin, it's got enough stuff on it till I really don't have to do anything, you know, anything else to it. If it was some I could shade and highlight and stuff on, I would, but this is a really good one. So I've got my napkin laid down. As you see, I did not wet my whole board at one time because I don't want that napkin to wrinkle on me. So I've got it laid down there, and I'm going to raise it up, and in the middle, I'm going to put some glue just on one side. And I'm putting a very little, I'm just wetting the tip of my brush, just enough to lay that down there. And I'm putting it on one side of my napkin. Now I'm going to take my fingers on my left hand and work that, laying it down slowly. I'm going to work that napkin out to the edges. If you do that, you won't have any trouble with wrinkles. Okay? And I've got a piece of saran wrap here that I've just wadded up, a piece of cheap saran wrap, and I can go right over top of it with that. Now see, the bottom half of my napkin is not glued down yet. So I'm going to go right back in, raise it up, take my brush, and put a little bit of glue down there underneath it. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing this time. Take my finger on this side, use my saran wrap, I didn't lay it all down at one time. I'm just letting it gradually fall as I go across there so that it goes right out to the edge and I don't get any wrinkles. I have no wrinkles in that piece. And the napkin just kind of fades into that background because the napkin is so thin and the mulberry paper is already there and wrinkled. Now I'm going to work my way from the center of the napkin out and put a top coat on it. Very little, just a little bit. A little dab will do you. Okay. Just a little. be working on Easter things for the next few weeks. If you're a person, a crafter who sells, you have to get ahead of the holidays, just like Hobby Lobby goes in it. You go in July and you find Christmas stuff in there. Well, that's because of the craft industry. And if you're a crafter and you're working toward Christmas, you have to have your stuff done by July. You have to have your merchandise done and ready to move by the time July rolls around. The same way, if in December you're working on Valentine's and Easter stuff. Okay, now, see how pretty that is? And you can't even tell that the lines, you can't see that the lines are on there, where it begins and where it ends. And I think this time I'm going to, since I put a light in it, I'm going to go ahead and put another rabbit on the other side just like this one. So I'm going to decorate this one on both sides. Now sometimes I will put something else on the side. If you're doing this for yourself, put Valentine's on one side and Easter on the other. And then you will have 2 holidays done and ready to go. You can use your bottle, then you can turn it around and use it again. You can put two different designs. But since I'm working here for class, I'm just going to go ahead and put another design of this bunny on the back. So if I put it on something, set it somewhere where it shows, you'll be able to see both sides. You set it on a table and then, in a display. Say you got a display on your dining table, an Easter display, and you set the bottle in it, then they can see it from both sides of the table. So that's a good thing. It's just a choice of what you like. Now I'm going right back in and doing the same thing again. I'm going to go around this one with the water. I varnish everything that I do for protection, and I'll show you in a few minutes what I use. We'll have to let this one dry, so I can't varnish it with you, but I will show you what I use and explain it to you. Everything needs to be varnished for a finished protection. Your Mod Podge is just to seal your piece in, but your varnish protects your piece so that it can be cleaned. If you've got a piece that's been varnished, then you're able to dust it and keep it clean. It'll last for years and years and years. Okay. These are great gifts for kids. If you've got children in a family, they love the things that light up. I do a lot of things with lights in them. Some of them electric lights, some of them cork lights. Okay, now I've got that one cut out again. I'm going to separate my papers, and I'm ready to rock and roll. Okay, got it off there, except this time I'm going to have to be careful because I don't want to get on that side. This is almost dry, but I'm going to hold it up here. Just going to hold it up and try not to, don't want to lay it down because I don't want it to stick to that. So I'm going to just take my finger, take my thumb up here, and hold it in place, get it positioned where I want it. And then I'm going to raise it up, put my finger in there and raise it up so I can do just the bottom first. Come down here and put some glue across the bottom. I keep my Mod Podge in a little cup, and I have added a little water to it. It's too thick when it comes out of the bottle because you want to use just a small amount. So if you put it in a little cup, I buy it by the gallon, and I put it in a small cup then to keep it clean so I don't get the whole bottle of Mod Podge contaminated by dipping my brush in and out of it. Okay. Now see how easy that was? Now I'm going to lay this one down, take my brush and put a little more glue up here, little bitty bit. Almost what's on my brush when, just left on my brush is enough to go underneath that. Take my paper, saran wrap, and come right up that bottle. Now I'm ready to top coat it. Make sure I didn't get in that back there. Put a little bit of this one. I will mix my bows. I'll show you on this other one here. I put a red and white bow on this one, on the hard one, This one I will use like a green and yellow. And I use a satin ribbon that's, the same on both sides when I tie the bow on it. A double bow on it, and I'll put 2 colors in my bow, 2 colors of ribbon. And then put your light in, put your cork light in, and you're ready to go. When you go to Amazon, just put in Amazon, just put in cork lights, and then go through them and look for your best price, because you'll find tons of them. But you shouldn't pay more than a couple of dollars for them each. So sometimes, and you buy them in multiples. Usually my packages are 20, 25 at a time. But if you buy them like that, you're getting them for like $2 a piece. And then I always buy an extra box of batteries, because like I said, when I ship mine, I always ship an extra set of batteries with them, so they will know what to purchase. You can get the batteries at the Dollar Tree if you know what you're getting. Okay, I'm done with that brush, so I'm going to put it over here in my water and put the lid on my glue. Get it out of my way. Now see how pretty that is? Got this side, and then I've got this side. Now the only other thing that I'm going to do to this is I'm going to take my brush. I want to put a little color in here. So I'm going to take my toothbrush. Let me find it over here. And I'm going to get me out just a teeny tiny bit of paint. And I'm going to take probably a little bit of a dark, this has got the green in the grass, so I'm going to go with a darker shade like a leaf green. I'm going to use this one. This is called Evergreen. I'm going to shake it up a little bit. Put just a little touch. I only need a touch on my paint board here. Okay, and I need my palette knife. Find where I put it. Okay, I've got a palette knife here. I'm going to take my palette knife and I'm going to put me just a drop of water in that paint so that it thins it down a little bit. It'll be just about like ink. Okay, then I'm going to take my toothbrush, and right on the end, up here on the very end of my toothbrush, I'm going to pick up a little bit of paint. I'm going to sneak that brush right into that paint. I'm not going to go down in there and glob it down in there. Sneak it right over into the paint and just have it on the end of my brush. Now I'm not going to go down here over top of my rabbits. I'm going to go around these edges, around through here, and kind of put a little color. I always say this hides a multitude of sins. If you've got a spot that you need covered up, that's where you put a little thicker of the paint. I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to pull from the front toward me. So I'm just kind of dropping that off on there. I don't like it to be in very big spots, so I just pick up a little bit at a time, and I'm going right around the edges. Work my way all the way around my bottle. Pulling it back toward me. Some people do this with their finger. It's what you learn, after 50 years of playing with it. When you learn something new and it works for you, you just kind of stay with it, unless you get something that makes it a whole lot more simple. This works for me, so this is what I've done for years with the toothbrush instead of fooling with it with my fingers. So this is just what I still do. Now I'm turn it around and go on the other side the same way. Okay, I've got that. Clean my brush off, get rid of my toothbrush. Now when it dries, it's ready for me to varnish. See that? You can hardly see the spark. You'll see it when I post a picture of it, but you can hardly see the little things that I've rained on it with the colors. You can hardly see that. Now see, ordinarily if this didn't have shading, see this little bunny's got lots of dark shading down here on the bottom. It's already on the napkin. If I was doing that on something that didn't have that on it, didn't have the bunny anchored down to the ground, then I would put some shading of paint and stuff across there. Sometimes I do that. I go back in and I highlight the leaves or whatever, but this napkin has got good strong colors in it. so I don't really have to do that to make it, to make it any prettier. Okay, now when I varnish it, I will use Josanya. This is by Chromia, Chroma. This is my go-to varnish, what I like. This one is a satin. I use the satin and I use the gloss. And I will take a soft brush and put a coat of this on, put a coat of varnish all over it, and usually I'll put about 3. When it dries, the first one dries 15-20 minutes, then I'm right back to put another one. And when I get to the 3rd coat, I put my varnish out in a little cup like this. And when I get to the 3rd coat and I put my varnish in that cup, let me get it over here and I'll show you. I put some glitter right in my varnish. I'll put my varnish in the cup, and then I will shake this glitter. This is called iridescent glitter. It's Go Create, and it's from Hobby Lobby. Okay, I will take that and shake it right into my varnish, and then on my last varnish of the piece, I will put that on with the glitter in it, and that gives it a real pretty glittery finish. I'm not sure if you can see the glitter on this heart one or not, but I may be able to turn it. See, a little bit there. See, now you can see the sparkles. See how it sparkles on the edges? That's the glitter that I've put on. And I always put at least three coats of varnish on them. Okay, see, it's all got a nice finish on it and ready to go. This will last for years and years and years. Then I tie the bow. I take 2 colors of ribbon, put them both on at the same time, and I tie this bow to where it's got 3 or 4 petals on each side of the bow. And like I said, when I do this one, I'll use a yellow ribbon. If I don't have a green, I'll use yellow and white, but I'll match the ribbon to whatever the piece is. Then your light is on a string. It's called fairy lights or cork lights. It's on a string, and when you flip the switch, it'll come on. See how it lights up there? Makes it really pretty. And like I said, kids love these pieces. Okay, girls, ladies, gentlemen, whoever's watching, I've enjoyed teaching for you, and I hope you'll come back and join us again. Be sure and watch the other videos. Everything you watch helps me a little bit, and I appreciate that. If you come over to Facebook and you visit me on Facebook, let me know that you found us on YouTube, or send me a message. Always happy to hear from you, and always answer questions. Catch you later. Bye-bye.